because there's like 2 boss souls that can be used for 4 different things. So anyway, game plays differently, but it still uses, stamina's used for everything, abusing invincibility frames. There's a couple of other distinct differences between this and Dark Souls, like the lack of the poise stat, which would reduce your staggering in Dark Souls. There's no poise stat, so, heavy armor is really not a good idea in this game. I mean, you'll stagger from just about everything. And you take a lot more damage even from the smallest attack in this game, which is why you have healing items instead of an Estus flask, and a lot of them. Anyway, like I said, this is my 4th playthrough, but I had to do a Let's Play test of something, and I'll be able to record myself getting a platinum. These are my stats for this character. As you can see, I'm soul level 152, and I've got, over 800k souls to use. Yeah, I've also got my stamina maxed out, and it can't go any higher than that. I've got some decent equipment that grants me max mobility while still granting me a fair amount of defense. I like to play mage, further away you are from the enemy, the safer you tend to be, but sometimes I'm forced to go melee for one reason or another. Either enemies resistant to magic, or it just makes the kill faster, or the enemy's faster, so I don't have enough time to cast. Forgive me if I stumble upon my words, that happens a lot. Anyway, this is the beginning of my 4th playthrough, so you'll be able to see a general run-through of the game as I do this, and hopefully I'll be able to get a platinum. There's really only one more annoying thing I have to do to get a platinum, but we'll cross that bridge later. Right now, we have to go beat the first level. Over here, we have your storage. General blacksmith to repair items. You can't really do too many upgrades, but anyway, here we go. Let's rock this shit. Oh yeah, if you don't like curse words, you might as well leave now. It'll be happening a lot. Here we are in the first level. You're probably thinking, what, you have to fight a dragon immediately? And the answer is no. You have to run the fuck away from it, but if you've played Dark Souls, it's kind of similar to the Hellkite Dragon. But anyway, by the way, I am playing online, and yes, I can be invaded, but considering of my high level, my chances are pretty reduced. Anyway, this is the first level, the Boletarian Palace. Now, normally on your first playthrough, you go to a tutorial level where you get killed. Yes, you literally get killed. It's literally unavoidable. And then after that, you're directed here. So, you also have to beat this level before you can level up. You can't level up. And here's our first enemy. They're really weak. As you can see, they go down in one hit, and I'm on the 4th playthrough, so they're beefed up, more powerful than normal. Even one hit from them is pretty weak. But when you're level 1 and you've barely got any stats to your name, even one hit will dish out a lot of damage. Also, considering you die in this game, unlike Dark Souls, in this game Your hollow form is first of all your phantom form, or your ghost form, or undead form, whatever the hell. It's your effective hollow form for this game. Your HP is halved, at best. So with half HP, a lot of things can one-shot you. There is a ring that can up how much HP you have in soul form, which is what it's called now that I remember. But, you know, still, a lot of things can still one-shot you. Anyway, as you can see, the first level is going to be really easy. You know, the first time I played through this level, I only died twice, and that's actually good. Granted, I had seen my brother and his girlfriend play it a little bit beforehand, but still. As you can see, I'm wearing some pretty decent armor, but I'm still staggering from like every hit. That's because there's no poison in this game. So that's why mobility is a little bit more important in this game rather than Dark Souls, where some people prefer to sacrifice mobility for a lot of defense. Anyway, I know the layout of this place, so it shouldn't be too hard, and I've gone through this place 3 times already, and for some reason I'm taking a lot of hits. Like I said, this game has consumable recovery items instead of Estus flasks, so you use those, and be along your merry little way. And, of course, there's messages left behind by other players, bloodstains, a few deaths, all that's in this game too. That's where the stuff from Dark Souls came from. It all came from this game. Like I said, this is a defective prequel. Games don't connect via story, but, you know, I guess Dark Souls would be classified as a spiritual sequel. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking for now, so you guys can focus a little bit more on the... As you can see, fog gates exist in this game too, effectively serving the same purpose, just dividing up segments of the level and some of them leading into boss areas. Again, they serve the same. As you can see, backstabs also exist in this game, just as devastating as they are in Dark Souls. It's a trap. This is likely your first tough enemy that you'll face in the game, but he's pretty easy to maneuver around if you got a shield. pretty easy to evade. He can be pretty easy to backstab too, like that. You know, kind of like Black Knights and Dark Souls were apparently very easy to parry and riposte, or however they pronounce it. And by the way, that's in this game too, actually, but I suck at it, so I don't use it. Let's Play is getting to me. I'm usually not that careless. Yeah, stuff like that can really make you rage in this game. And, you know, speaking of which, that kind of just reminded me. I also don't usually melee this much. Unlike Dark Souls, Demon Souls has an effective revive miracle that allows you to resurrect, where, you know, if you would be killed, it heals you to half health. You know, 50% health. Dark Souls doesn't have something like that. Of course, dying in Dark Souls doesn't have as big of a penalty as it does in this game, so it's kind of more needed here. Especially since it takes such a shitload.
Good day to you. Mostly... Go ahead. I'm not going anywhere.
As you can see, there are vendors within certain levels as well. They usually just sell some healing items, some generic weapons that you can use to go down the various upgrade paths, etc., etc. Same as they are in Dark Souls, except they never sell any spells or anything. Those are... Time for some spell work. Guy's got his shield raised, and then you wait for him to lunge, you fire. Pretty easy. The guys with the red... And now we're going to take a little bit of a diversion to pick up a couple items, even though I've gone through the game 3 times already, and to do a little bit of a side quest thing. Again, I've done the side quest before, but yeah, it's my gaming nature. They're easier to kill with spells when they don't have any shields, because, of course, they're not... we have to save a motherfucker.
Please, help me. I am trapped, surrounded by Dreglings.
My thanks for your brave rescue. I am Ostrava of Boletaria. Accept this as a token of my gratitude.
And then you save this bastard 2 more times just for him to die later on anyway. Yeah, well, it gives you a key that'll allow you to get a weapon and some armor and a ring if you so wish. Or, you know, you can kill him now and get the key, but I'm not going to do that for reasons I really don't feel like explaining. I'll get to those explanations.
What on earth are you doing? Please! You must not!
You see, that's the reason I hate around. That's the reason I hate around. I really cannot talk today. That's the reason I hate hanging around NPCs. I always feel like I'm gonna hit them. And well, my point's proven.
Now, I must go. There is something for me to take care of.
You gotta love how nobody talks with any emotion in this game. I mean, I swear, I have not heard a single ounce of emotion out of any character. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Everybody keeps on rolling. Who wants to watch somebody? Remember that dragon I mentioned before and how we're gonna have to run the fuck away from him? Well, he's about to show up. It's a little hard to lure him out, but once you lure him out, unlike the Hellkite Dragon in Dark Souls, he's easier to get by. Or impossible at best. A little bit of a pain. Okay, there he is. Except he's not breathing fire like he usually does. It's a bit of a pain to lure him out and have him breathe fire on the bridge to get rid of all these guys. But after that, he's easy to get by. Lure out the melee guys, the guys who use spears and swords and stuff, and lure out the dragon whenever possible to kill all the bowmen. I really hate it when my character does the pushing attack when I don't tell him to. It really messes up everything each time it happens. You know what? I've got a revive effect active. I'm gonna wing it. Well, you know I would if those guys all weren't in the way. That's life. You say one thing, you do something else. Oh sure, now he breathes fire. Behold, the lever to the boss. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, threatening. Actually, now that I think about it, there's a shortcut if I got to open back there, but, you know, I made it through to the boss lever anyway, so, Yes, the MP healing item is called, or one of the MP healing items is called Old Spice. Yes, just like the deodorant. Doot doot doot. Say hello to Senor Slimes, with bladed heads and spears. These will be likely the first normal enemies to give you a bit of a hassle, considering their armored fronts and the fact you can't get around to them. However, they are weakened by fire and magic damage, so if you decide to play through this game, remember that. You'll find some turpentines throughout the level which, when applied to your right-hand weapon, will have it do extra fire damage, so be aware of that. Or if you're a mage and you start out with a spell, you know, use your spells. But remember, you won't have any you really won't have any MP healing items, so you know you gotta use those sparingly. Although, if you pick the royalty starting class, you'll get a rain that regenerates 1 MP every 4 seconds. So, you know. Starting classes really only affect your starting equipment, since you distribute the stats yourself. But we'll get to that later. As you can probably guess, this is the boss gate leading into the boss. If you were being invaded, passing through this would repel the invaders, sending them back to their home world. Everything works the same way as it does in Dark Souls. So, yeah, let's do this. Remember, the first time you go through the gate, you have to fight this boss at level 1, or whatever. You can't level up. So, there's actually an enemy much like this in an optional dungeon in Dark Souls that works somewhat the same. Pretty much the basic strategy for this is get rid of the little guy so you can get to the big guy in the center. You can take your time, but don't take too much time because then they start diverging off of the main thing itself and you'll be overwhelmed with things chucking spears at you from left, right, up, and down. So, I really have no idea how I managed to do this on my first playthrough. I don't remember because I don't think I died against it. Although it kind of helped that I was a mage. I was a sorcerer starting class, so I had a spell at my disposal and some turpentine to help me do some fire damage. But once you get the thing exposed, it's pretty much a cakewalk. Focus on one side, expose it, and just assault it. Contrary to what you might think, some people actually, and sometimes it is actually a better idea just to assault it with quick melee strikes, considering the attack speed of the smaller guys is pretty slow. So, as you can see, that was pretty easy for me, but, you know, I'm super high level. After you kill the boss, a archstone will appear, allowing you to teleport back to the Nexus, which is your general level hub. Touching it will also net you a boss soul, and sometimes an additional item. And, yeah, pretty much. You can return if you want, and we're going to this time, considering there's something we need to do. So, loading screen, portraying a random NPC. We wait and wait.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
The monumental awaits the above. The monumental will explain the nexus to thee.
If the sound sounds like it's messing up a little bit, it's because I keep forgetting to hit the stop recording my voice button on the video recording program, which automatically lowers the volume of the game. So, you know, again, this is the first time I'm doing something like this, so bear with me, will ya? I said bear with. If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna ban, you know what, I'm not gonna skip the cutscene just so you...
We have long awaited you, Slayer of Demons. I am one of the Monumentals. We preserve the fabric of reality. There is something thou needest to know. Once, we too, a scourge of demons faced. In the distant past, under a benevolent rule, the world was united, owing to the soul arts. Until a lust for power caused the awakening of the Old One. Across the land seeped a colorless, deep fog, and the world faced extinction at the hands of the demons. Thanks be, we were able to lull the Old One back to his slumber, yet only after the loss of innumerable souls, and half the world lost, erased by the fog. In order to mend the fabric of what land still remained, we entrusted 6 elders with 6 precious archstones. 1 to the king of a small yet diligent land. 1 to the king of the burrowers underground. 1 to the wise queen of the great ivory tower. 1 to the chieftain of lost and ill-fortuned souls. 1 to the shaman of the tempest-worshipping shadowmen. And the last to the great giants of the northern lands. The archstones were placed at nodes across the earth. We contained the Old One inside this nexus and banned the soul arts. Finally, we became monumentals, half-living sentinels of the fabric of reality. Alas, the other monumentals have perished, and only I remain. Now it is your turn. You must lull the Old One back to its slumber, and if not, the deep fog will absorb all that we know. Have you the strength to accept this mission? Yes, we are fortunate indeed to have you. Now, go forth and destroy every last demon. The Old One Without demons to feed its souls, will a new servant seek and lure you to its bosom.
Wish you wouldn't use that word. You know what comes to mind. Don't deny it, you per- Also, while it said there were 6 Archstones, there's really only 5 you journey to. The 6th one, the one with the giants in the Northern Lands, is destroyed, as I will show you in a second. A lot of people are curious as to if this was supposed to serve a purpose, like if it was supposed to be a 6th world, and it was scrapped, or if it was supposed to be, you know, DLC or something. There's a lot of different ideas. Some actually believe that the Great Giants of the Northern Lands, or at least the Archstone that this is supposed to lead to, this Archstone right here, the one that's crumbled, is actually the realm where Dark Souls take place. Lordran. Some people think that this might have had led to Lordran, and when you think about it, it might be possible. The Great Giants of the Northern Lands, and we have no idea where Lordran is, so it could be in the same plane of reality, the same timeline as where we are right now. So the Great Giants could be referring to the gods of Anor Londo. But you know, there's no real confirmation on what that was supposed to be, just a general thought for the most part. And really, to most people, it doesn't matter, but to story-obsessed, leave no plot hole left people like me, it's a bit of a nuisance. Alright, now that all that's out of the way, we can now officially level up by talking to this...
Brave soul, who fears not death, prithee, lull the old one back to its ancient slumber. What is it? Dost thou seek soul power? So be it. After all, thou requirest strength. Go forth, touch the demon inside me.
That also...
Let these ownerless souls become thine own. Soul of the mind, key to life's ether.
Now, like in Dark Souls, it costs you use souls to level up, and each time you level up, it costs more and more souls each time. Each stat can be leveled up to 99, but there are certain effective soft caps for each stat, either where something's maximized or you start getting severe diminishing returns. Like, the soft cap for endurance in this game is 40, considering the fact that your stamina is capped then. Leveling up any stat, like in Dark Souls, increases your defenses overall. Of course, in this, it only increases your physical defense. The stats are Vitality, which increases HP, and Item Burden. Item Burden in this game is how many items you can hold in your inventory. Unlike in Dark Souls, you can only hold so many items on your person before you become over-encumbered, which works exactly the way you think it does. Intelligence affects your max MP and how many spell slots you have. Endurance affects your max stamina, your equip burden, which is the same as it is in Dark Souls, your fire defense, and your bleed and poison resistance. Strength is, of course, a weapon requirement, effectively working the same way as it does in Dark Souls, being a stat requirement for weapons, and affecting the damage bonus of weapons with strength scaling. Dexterity is effectively the same thing, except for dexterity requirements and dexterity bonuses, but also allows you, at certain thresholds, to take less damage from falling. Fatal falls will still be fatal. Magic affects how much damage your magic spells do. Faith is effectively the same thing for magic, except for miracles. It also affects your miracle slots. Unlike in Dark Souls, miracle slots and spell slots are two different things. It also affects your magic defense. Luck is effectively kind of like your humanity stat from Dark Souls, affecting your drop rate, and instead of curse resistance, plague resistance. Not many people really level this up. I sure don't. Now, as of right now, I'm kind of just trying to get the stat requirements to wield every single weapon in the game. Although, considering some of the massive strength requirements, that may take a while. So, why don't we level up dexterity a little bit? I have a lot of souls from the previous playthrough. Did a lot of soul farming. Well, not really a lot of soul farming so much as a lot of material upgrade farming that just happened to come with a lot of souls.
Art thou done? Main thine.
Alright then. We're gonna deposit all the excess junk I don't need to have on hand, and yeah.
When my wife, but I would be.
Anyway, let's see here. Deposit all your upgrade materials. You don't need to have those on you. The blacksmith, when upgrading weapons and whatnot, can use stuff from your inventory. Deposit ammunition, because in this game that takes up space. Might as well keep the grass on me. I like to use the lower grade grasses for outside of combat. Deposit this. All that junk I'm never gonna use, but since I'm a hoarder... Oh, and these souls are pretty much like the souls in Dark Souls that when used adds souls to your stock, so if I did giving you a hard soul to use / obtain whenever needed. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Rest assured. Best of luck.
And your blacksmith in the area, he can't upgrade down many paths, but he's handy for when you need quick repairing. There's one, unlike in Dark Souls where there's multiple blacksmiths from multiple weapon paths, there's only one specialty blacksmith in this game for all weapon paths, including boss souls. So, yeah, and we're gonna get to that in a minute, but I'm gonna end this video now, watch it, see if everything recorded right, maybe mess with a couple of settings on the capture device program, see how everything else works. But yeah, this has been my first, what could be even called a Let's Play video, and we'll see how things go in the future. Thanks for watching. Tune in or don't. I really couldn't care less. See ya!